Hey, what's going on, everybody? BurntBrian here, and it's time to catch a buzz. So by no means is today's beer a craft beer. This is one that you could find at just about any grocery store or convenience store. And of course I'm talking about Edge from IceHouse. Now this one comes in at an 8% alcohol per volume. And other than that, I really don't know anything about it. Again, the 8% per volume jumped out at me, so I said, hey, I gotta give it a try. Now, IceHouse is a beer that I used to drink a lot of when I was younger, you know, when I was probably in my 20 age range. When IceHouse first really started coming out, I mean, I may have even been under 21, but I know we were drinking a whole lot of it. I mean, I think it had a slightly higher alcohol content than a lot of your standard mass-produced beers like Bud Light and Busch or some of those other ones. So I'm pretty sure that's why we used to get it. But again, I don't know anything else about it. I just figured, why not? We'll give it a shot. I am not too picky to try these mass-produced beers, although generally I don't like them. Well, we'll talk about that at the end of this, but let's go ahead and give this thing a pour here. Let's see. So yeah, it is your, you know, your standard golden, beautiful, clear beer here. And we've got a nice head on this one, but just, you know, completely transparent. I can see right through it. It's a really nice looking beer. There's really not a whole lot of carbonation, but there is a little bit of action going on in there. Anyway, let's see, what do we got? Now on aroma, it kind of smells like your typical malt beer, your malt beverage, kind of like a, you know, like a Colt 45 kind of smell, honestly. Maybe a Steel Reserve kind of smell, but anyway, let's go ahead and give it a taste here. Yeah, so, I mean, it's okay. Again, it almost reminds me of, like I mentioned, like a Colt. I wouldn't go as low as a Hurricane or a Cobra, you know, malt beverage, but it definitely has like that Schlitz, you know, Colt 45, that kind of typical taste to it. What I don't like is it's kind of like got this thickness to it, almost like a syrupy thickness that I'm not fond of. I mean, again, I guess if you're you know, on a budget, it's $1.09 for a 16-ounce pint, and at 8%, that's not bad. I mean, I think right now, at least around here in the stores I go to, you could get PBR or Busch or one of those beers for like $3.50 for a 4-pack. So, you know, you could pick up a 4-pack of this for about $4.50, and maybe even about the same price range, and you've got a good bit more alcohol than what's in those other beers. So that's the only reason why I would suggest to buy this, is if you're just on a budget, you want the higher alcohol content, you want to get drunk a little faster, then go with something like this. Otherwise, if you're, you know, going for taste, this isn't, you know, really it for me. So that's what I got on the review. If you want to stick around, coming up now.
Ooh, it's question topic time.
So for today's topic, I kind of want to touch on when it's appropriate to drink certain styles of beer. Now, obviously, if there's something you have a preference towards, then any time is a good time to drink that beer. For me, it's a little different. Like, when it comes to these cheaper beers, the ones that I used to drink a lot growing up when I would party and stuff, things like, you know, this IceHouse or you know, Bud Light or PBR or any of those, there was a reason why I was drinking. Part of it was, you know, budget. Obviously, it was really cheap. You could get a large quantity of beer for a cheap price. The other thing is, I find that, you know, during the summertime when it's really, really hot out, you know, oftentimes a really thick, hoppy beer, bitter kind of beer may not be best when I'm, you know, out in the 100-something degree Florida heat. And so I find that a really good light beer fits that occasion perfect. It's like, all right, cool, it's really nice and hot, I want something crisp and refreshing and light, then a good cheap light beer would be the way to go. Although there are good craft alternatives versus the big mass produced ones. It's just, you know, you got to have the money to buy them. My other, I guess, you know, thing would be hanging out with friends. If I'm at a party and I want to really, drink with everybody, I know that it's going to be a long night. We're going to be drinking a lot. Definitely don't want to be drinking a lot of high alcohol, 7, 8, 9, 10% beers. If I'm going to be trying to last the whole night, hang out with everybody. If I'm drinking the lower quality, more watered down beer, you're getting more water in your system. It's just so much easier to last and hang through the party drinking, a good light beer, something that you can enjoy, but may not be your favorite. And again, there's all kinds of, like I generally don't like to drink a stout or a porter in the heat either. I mean, it just doesn't really seem to fit during the winter time. Whenever, like for breakfast, if you're gonna wake up, you got the day off, it's your vacation, what the hell, why not? You could have a coffee stout or a chocolate stout for breakfast. Ideally though, I find that dessert is perfect suited for, a porter or a stout. After you've had a really good meal, you enjoyed or you're enjoying your dessert, have yourself a, like have some tiramisu and have a like a cappuccino stout or something, or an espresso stout. But anyway, again, I just find that there are times and places for all different kinds of beer. So I don't really discredit a lot of the main mass-produced beer companies. I mean, I do think that, ultimately there's a reason why the beer is cheaper. It's because they use lesser quality ingredients and the process isn't as good. And that's what you pay for when you buy craft beer. You're paying for quality. You're paying for the good ingredients and the time that these breweries put into creating their different craft beers. And plus, they don't have the same kind. I mean, it seems like big mass companies are really trying to put the squeeze on craft beers, and they don't want them to be able to compete. So they've got lobbyists in Washington and every state trying to, keep the small guy down. And that's really unfortunate because it's keeping, everybody from getting to experience and try all these different beers. But thankfully it has been growing in popularity and more breweries are popping up all the time. So it's just really nice to be able to go to my local ABC here or Gator Discount Beverage or Tipples Brews, and I can go and pick up a six-pack of mix of really good beers. And they have such a huge selection that over the 6 months I've been going to this one ABC, I still haven't tried every beer that they have or every cider or any of that. And I mean, I spend a lot. I go there and buy a lot of beer in a month. So anyway, let me take a swig because I am running on. Again, I'm not a big fan of this beer at all. Maybe it's because I've just been drinking too much good beer lately. Anyway, that wraps it up for topic time. Be sure if you have anything you'd like to hear me talk about, any kind of questions you'd like answered, or there's some kind of topic you'd like to hear my thoughts and opinions on, be sure and leave that down below in the comments section, and I'll be sure to respond to that promptly. And definitely, like I say, I always like interacting with you guys, so definitely enjoy reading comments and chatting with all of you, because this is my hobby. I don't really do a whole lot else other than this and, play games and cook in the kitchen and stuff. So anyway, don't forget to join me on all the various social networking sites that are out there, from Google+, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you're on UNTAPPD, if you like to drink a lot of different beers, look down in the description. You can find me by searching for BurntBrian on there. And if you're into video games, you can join me on the Steam network, and maybe we can play some games. I did do a gaming night not too long ago with the guys from Zion Mainframe Gaming. Excuse me. And if you don't know, those are the the guys from a few of the guys anyway from Reckless Eating. So had a whole lot of fun playing with them. I wish I would have had some beer so I could have caught more of a buzz. I think I'm a lot more fun when I have some drinks and play these games. But anyway, it was a great time. I look forward to doing it again sometime in the future. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, stay toasty, my friends.